Namaste my fellow strikers, Holy Materia here, back with another Shinobi Striker video. Today we're going to be talking about the best range DLC, so let's get right into it. Okay, so range has 7 DLC, just like the healer class, so we're going to go through each one, all 7. So just because the DLC is number 7, it doesn't mean it's a bad DLC. I don't think that any of the range DLC are necessarily bad, but some are definitely better than others. So yeah, let's go ahead and go right over it. So for me, number 7 is Orochimaru, and that's easy. He's definitely the worst one of all the range DLC. I don't care what kind of builds people want to throw at me or what people want to say. There's nobody else at the range DLC that's worse than Orochimaru. Like I said, it's not that he's bad. It's just that all the other range DLC are better than him. So he has his Shadow Snake jutsu that poisons people, which is okay in certain builds, but you don't really see it that often. It doesn't have very good range. It doesn't do that much damage unless you have your build set up with like lengthening the status ailments or something like that, or you have like some kind of poison build set up. And then he has the Great Breach, which is good on certain game modes. Like, it's okay on base because people are standing still. People make builds with it that make it alright, but it's not really a good jutsu in general. It has terrible tracking, it doesn't do that much damage, and it's mostly like, it's better for objectives than it is for actually fighting with, unless you have like some kind of special build with it. And his ult is the summoning reanimation. It's not great, it's not terrible, but it's not one of the best range ults for sure. It's okay if you use it from a distance. If you kind of get somebody while they're not looking, it's alright, but it's pretty easy to dodge, and it's just not all that great. So coming in at number 6, I have Toby Rama, and this might be partly because I just don't like Toby Rama as a character. But he's not he's not a bad DLC at all, but I just think all the other ones are a little bit better than him. Maybe he could be number 5, but I'll just keep him at number 6 for right now. So his Severing Wave is one of his ninjutsu. It's okay. You can use it and do a decent amount of damage, and it breaks guards. And if you can hit it at the right angle, it can do lots of damage. But it's not really that great just in general, and you don't really see that many people using it. His Water Dragon, however, is a very good move. One of the best moves for defending the flag in the game. It's got some of the best tracking of any jutsu. It knocks you back, so it will knock flags out of people. And it's not really made for damage, but it's okay for if you're trying to use it for damage, just because it's almost like a guaranteed hit because it has such good tracking. And then his ult can be really good, especially like depending on how you use it. Obviously good in all of the objective based game modes. So anything there's an objective, like whether it's flag, base, or even barrier battle, it's good because people will run into it, and it can kill like squishies. So yeah, it's been a good ult. It's still a good ult. People even use it in combat, especially if their teammates help them set it up. So yeah, Toby Rama is just pretty good overall. Like he doesn't really have any. His Severing Wave is not great, but besides that, everything he has is pretty good. So coming in at number 5, we have Haku. So Haku, to me, is his level. It depends on like if you're a really advanced player or if you're a newer player or like a lower level player. So he's not very good for new players, but he can be really good in the hands of somebody who's an advanced player. But I'd say like overall he's about 5 or 6. So first, Haku has 1,000 Needles of Death. So this is a jutsu that you can put on the ground, and it traps your opponent, it takes away their ninjutsu. You can do okay damage depending on like how you have your build set up. But this is more of an advanced move. It's not really something that's like really great on objectives like it seems like it would be, because it doesn't cover that much space. So you would think like, oh, I can use this on base battle or something, but people can be running around all over the base and not even run into that. So it's not really made for that. It's more used in combos, like in close range combos. You can get somebody in a combo and then put that down on them and extend the combo with it, or just use that to like deny people's jutsu. And then next he has this Icicle Swallow, and like this is a move that's hard to land if you're a new player, so I wouldn't suggest it for new players because of that. Neither of his jutsu are good for new players, and even the ult's not really good for new players. But Icicle Swallow is really good because it's good at countering a lot of the meta from other classes. Like it'll knock people out of super armor. You can use it to stop people from using jutsu that rush at you, like Hazan Strike. That's stuff that's almost undodgeable, so you can use that to get away from those and to hit them, and it will cause them to have restriction damage, so you can do higher damage after you hit them. And then the Crystal Ice Mirrors is his ultimate. It's not that good, to be honest. I mean, you actually see it a lot, but it's not very good. It won't even kill a range type. You get it, it comes back pretty fast, but that's about the only advantage. It's not even easy to hit with. Sometimes you can miss everybody who's on a base with it somehow. It's just not a good ult, but you see it all the time though, so some people must think it's good. And he also comes with the ice sub if you if you care about like the substitutions. It's actually a good sub. I just don't use it myself, but yeah, the ice sub is nice. Alright, so for number 4 we have Nagato. So this DLC I still say is like one of the most unique DLC in the whole game. He gave us jutsu like nothing we had in the game before. So he has the Chikashoto, where he summons the chameleon and you can become invisible. So that's something that was never in the game before. People have been talking about it a little bit before this came out, and then all of a sudden they just gave it to us, so it was dope. So you can use this for like running flags, and then on top of that, when you're in it, it gives you a huge buff to your attack power. So the next move you do has a huge buff. So lots of people like to run Chikashoto with something like Majestic Destroyer Flame, and it almost one-shots just by itself, like just with doing a single Majestic or any jutsu that you would have used, it will give you a huge buff to it. So yeah, that makes it useful in every game mode, but it's especially useful in flag though. And then the second ninjutsu is really unique because it makes you have 2 separate new jutsus. Both of these can like break sand shields and water pillars, so they're really good. Like one shoots like one missile straight ahead, and the other one will rain down missiles on at whatever the location is where they were when you do it. So yeah, it's really unique, it's really cool. I don't really use it that often, and I don't really find that it's all that great, but a lot of people use it. You see it all the time, but you probably see Chikashoto more than that one. And then there's ult, the Ghetto Statue. This one does all kinds of damage if you can hit with it, but the problem is that it gives you like a sliver of health left after you use it. So you need to be able to use it like in tandem with a teammate who's going to heal you really quick, or if you have like flash medicine or something like that to heal yourself. This ult, you don't see it that often. I mean, people use it, but it's not really one of the best range ults though. But it does do good damage if you can get it off. It's just like really risky, and it's not really worth the risk because it's not very reliable. Alright, so coming in at number 3, we have Kakashi Double Shotting Gun. So when he first came out, this was the DLC that made me start my channel. Like that's when I started making content on YouTube about Shinobi Striker, because I was so hyped for this DLC. So he was really good when he first came out, easily number 1. But now they've nerfed him a lot, so he's not as good as he used to be, but he's still a solid DLC though. So first we have the Convoy Bond, which was a game-changing move and is still a game-changing move for range types. So range types can use this to become invincible, and this actually works more like Convoy than the Convoy Climax does, because you can put it on and then you can attack, and you can get hit while you're attacking, but once you stop attacking, you become invincible again, and your enemies can't hit you. So yeah, and it also gives you an attack buff while you're using it. And then we have the Convoy Lightning Blade, which can phase through attacks like while you're in the animation of like flying at your opponent. But when you start it off, you can still get knocked out, so you're not in the Convoy state when you're like sitting there just charging it. But once you start moving with it, then you can't be hit by anything. So it's a cool jutsu, and this can knock your opponents out of any kind of Convoy, like Convoy Bond or Convoy Climax, and it gives a defense debuff on your opponent when you hit them with it. And then Double Shotting on Kakashi's ult is the Convoy Shuriken, which is an OP ult. It's a one-shot no matter what. It makes their cooldown last longer, and you can't be revived from getting hit by it also. This one for me, it's kind of hard to hit, but most people don't seem to have any problem hitting with it. You just have to be up close and they can't really escape it. And yeah, so most people consider this to be one of the best range ults in the game. So yeah, Double Shotting on Kakashi is still good. Number 2 though, I'm going to say Madara Uchiha. His Majestic Destroyer Flame is still the best range jutsu in the game. There's no range jutsu that even comes close to comparing to it. It's the most overpowered thing that range types have. It breaks sand shield, breaks water pillar, breaks guards. It's a giant jutsu. Even you can get hit by the splash damage. You can get hit by the main thing. It knocks you back. It has amazing tracking, and it's so big, so it's hard for most players to dodge. Advanced players don't have a problem dodging it, but like almost everybody in the game can dodge it. So that's why everybody always complains about it. But if you're an advanced player, you don't really have that much trouble. But in the most situations, it's going to be a great jutsu for you. So just on the strength of that alone, Madara is one of the best range DLC. But then he has Hiding an Ash Jutsu, which has a lot of usage. It's not as good as it could be if it healed you, but even without the healing, it's still good. It takes away any status ailments you have. It works like Subterranean Voyage, but it just doesn't heal. And then also, if you do it while you're close to somebody, it will stun them, and that stun lasts for a long time. So you can do all kinds of setups with that, and you can also set up his ultimate, which is better than it used to be. So they've buffed his Heaven Concealed ultimate, so that makes Madara an even better DLC than he used to be just a few weeks ago or a few months ago. So now, first of all, the jutsu comes down faster, and opponents can get hit by the meteor itself before it even touches the ground. So that makes it even faster than it is anyway. Also, there's a shockwave now that can hit you, and it can also hit you like even around corners and stuff. Like if you're behind a tree or a wall or something, the shockwave can still hit you. So it's just a 100% better alt than it used to be. It's still slow. It's still slower than Kidding and stuff like that, but it has a much bigger range and it does a lot more damage. So it kind of makes it worth it. And you can hit people with it if you stun them with the Heaven, or if you stun them with Hiding in Ash, you can hit them with the Heaven Concealed. It's a much better jutsu than it used to be. But still, number one for range types is Adult Sasuke, or Sasuke Boruto version. He comes with 3 ninjutsu that are all good. He has a great ultimate. Yeah, he's just a really good DLC. So first, he has the Heavenly Hand power, so that you can swap places with your opponents. This can be used in all kinds of unique ways. You can run flags with it. You can get people off of bases. You can set people up, like using a paralysis seal and then swap them into it, or swap them into ultimate, like Toby Rama's ult or something. You can just swap them into like Haku's 1,000 Needles of Death. Like there's all kinds of things you can use this for. And then the second jutsu is Flame Lightning. This is probably the second best range jutsu in the game. The most annoying thing to deal with on flag battle. Like it's the best thing to use to defend on flag. Like pulling people with that, as long as you can see them, you can pull them, and it'll pull you all the way to you, and then the person that's running the flag will drop the flag. It's the most annoying thing to deal with in flag battle. So it's so easy to hit with, it's so easy to use, and it's just almost like a guaranteed hit. So as long as the person's not in a combo when they're doing it, when you do it, or they're not dashing, which is like they can't really predict it, they just have to get lucky to dodge it. So it's just one of the best moves in the game, especially for range types. And then he also has the Onyx Chidori, so he comes with 3 ninjutsu. So he has the Onyx Chidori, which is really good. It's another lightning blade type of move, but it has different properties. Like it can combo people, and it can break things like the True Seeker orbs and petrifying jutsu and Needle Jizo and stuff like that. So it makes it a lot better than it used to be. And then his ultimate is the full body Susanoo Chidori. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna try, but it's a really good jutsu. Some people don't like it, but as long as you do it from medium to far distance, it's a good jutsu, has good tracking, and you can usually one-shot most people. But if you do it up close, it acts weird, and it will hit them, but they don't get hurt by it. So just make sure you do it from like a medium to far distance, but not far enough so that they can actually run away from it. So that's all that matters, is just the distance. And it takes a while to charge, but it's a good ultimate though. And it's one of the best looking ults too. Alright, so yeah, that's my list for the best range type DLC in the game. So yeah, like I was saying, like it's not like that any of these DLC are bad. This is just like if I had a limited amount of money and I was just gonna buy like one DLC a week or one every 2 weeks or something, I would buy Sasuke first, and then Madara, and then Kakashi. Like it would just go in that order. So it's not that Orochimaru is bad, but it's just he'd be the last one I would buy if I could only buy one DLC at a time or something like that. And so that's how all these lists will be. So I'll do the defense type next time. It'll be a little while because I want to let the meta settle down a little bit more to see what they do with the ribcage and stuff, because they're definitely going to nerf that, unless they just want the game to be completely broken. But you never know with Soliel, man. But yeah, so the defense will be next, and then a little, like a week or so after Kawaki comes out, then I'll do the attack type one. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to Shinobi Strike that like button. Everybody stay safe out there. Peace and love.